Mr. Mike Middleton, Caddo Commissioner. Hey, Mr. Mike, welcome back to KEEL. How you doing?
Good morning, sir, and thank you for the call. And let me just give a big shout out for that app. That's what I listen to most of all. And also, let me say, I hope I can be as organized in my presentation this morning to y'all as Mike Johnson and Alan Seaball is, especially with the zeal that Alan Seaball shows when he's speaking.
Mike, we talked to the sheriff yesterday about patrolling the city limits of Shreveport, helping out SPD, and said it's the funding is the big question now. I think there's a committee meeting this afternoon, long-range planning committee, or one of the committee meetings of the commission. Where are we on getting parish money to help fund this?
Okay, let's go back just a little bit. I was in that meeting with the sheriff and the mayor and the chief and all of it, and Lewis Johnson was in there with me also. I did commit that we would bring it to the commission, and I looked at Lewis, and he seemed to agree with that. We don't, we're just 1/6 of the, the body of 12.
You guys didn't promise funding, right? I mean, you didn't say,
no.
Okay.
Oh, I promised that I would work for it.
Okay.
Yes, I did that. Okay, but then I have to admit that KEEL came out with a story that said that the commission was funding it. Well, I just let it go because I thought maybe that would get corrected out, and I guess that's where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm for this. Now, I'm 100% behind it, and I wanted to sponsor the legislation to bring it forward, but everyone knows I'm going to abstain because I'm still a reserve deputy. I ran on transparency, ethics, and accountability, and this is the ethical thing for me to do is to abstain, but I'm going to be out there full power and trying to get this thing passed. Now, as other commissioners look at what they want to do in their districts, whether they're having parties in the park or Christmas lights, whatever, and using some, public money to award people for having good Christmas lights in their yards and stuff like that, we need to look at the big picture here. We've got whether it's reality or perception, we have a problem here in Shreveport, and we have a lot of money at the commission. Yes, we are the ones that would best probably fund this thing. But, I did throw out a dollar amount that I thought would be negotiable with the commission.
What is that? What is that dollar amount?
Well, the sheriff's budget came out higher than what I thought it would. And so I'm asking, maybe the city needs to look at kicking in on some money on this, too. I don't want to, everything the sheriff said was correct. And the fact that he said that the commission was looking at funding on this. So I'll tell you what it is. I mean, it's going to be public record. It's $120,000 over 4 months.
Okay, and that's
just the initial.
That's your figure or the sheriff's?
That came out of the sheriff's office.
Okay, you guys have the money. The city doesn't have the money. That's where people are going to talk. You guys have way more money than the city of Shreveport.
That's what they're going to say. Yeah, we had a whole lot more money too before I came on board. They had to win the Haynesville Shell. But that money is being depleted, diminished to taking care of capital funding and things that are coming up with shortfalls, such as Juvenile Detention Center and fundings needed at Caddo Correctional Center, such as the locks, which were $3.2 million, which is the Caddo Parish Commission's responsibility. It's not the sheriff's responsibility. And that we have to pony up that money. So we have these unforeseen things that come up, and we're diminishing that. I think it went from 80, 85, and I think maybe 55. Don't quote me on those because I don't have the numbers in front of me. But we're diminishing that fund to keep the parish operating at the efficiency that it is. But I think I definitely don't think any of this needs to come out of the sheriff's budget. As I told him in that meeting, 39 years of law enforcement weren't left at the door. I understand where the sheriff is. People will point out and they say, well, the sheriff has $20-something million. Well, that's the sheriff's checkbook. He's got to finish writing checks to the deputies and taking care of his expenses for the rest of the year. And so he doesn't really have that. I think, he probably may have 10% of that maybe at the end of the year that's a fund. A fund balance until he gets the taxes in January, until he gets another big check. I know how this works. I used to be the tax collector for the sheriff's office too. So it's a lot of stuff going here. Now we just got to get down to what do the commissioners know about law enforcement. You got to go to Operation Thor.
The sheriff, Mr. Mike, the sheriff is on record saying that if the city of Shreveport wants the help, if they want the assistance, he's more than willing. Are you or the other commissioners at this point, because there's a lot of pushback from the Shreveport Police Department that we don't think this is the best idea. Are you or the other commissioners being lobbied by Shreveport Police, Shreveport city government people, etc., that why don't you vote no?
Well, no, I've not been lobbied by that, no, but I'm not real sure if the city is complete buy-in on what the sheriff is proposing to do either. I had a short discussion with Chief Crump the other day, and I'm just not sure he's totally on board. So it may not just be the commission funding. Now, let me also point this date out. It'll be at least July 8th, the way it goes right now. But to answer your question, no, I'm not being lobbied to say no.
Well, pardon me, Mike, is the Shreveport Police Department's pushback if the chief of police, if the rank and file don't want the sheriff's department help, is that a deal breaker?
That's between the mayor and the chief. I think the mayor was very definite that she wanted the help of the sheriff on this. And as far as the administration goes from there, I mean, that was the mayor's direction while we were in the meeting, and I feel like that's where she is on it. It's just one of those things that we're just having to work out. And the only thing I can really comment on, Robert, for sure, is let's bring this before this committee. Now, things go to committees, and they have a tendency to die. I don't intend to let this die if I have to try to put it on the agenda next time. The president of the commission, he wanted to put it to committee. Okay, I agree with that. Let's don't sit here. That's the advantage that Bossier has on the other side. They don't study things to death. They see a need, and they go ahead and do it.
Why the long-range planning committee? Why long-range planning? This seems like let's do it now. Why is that the committee that got it?
Well, I don't know. That was signed by the president, by Doug. And that's his prerogative to sign it to. He wanted to sign it. That was the one that's most. We only have a certain number of committees, and that was the one that seemed more appropriate for this. Long range can be kind of deceiving. Mm-hmm. That's the same thing that the memorial went to, the statue and all that. But eventually it got out of there. But we can't sit on this. We got to get our PR for our city or for our parish. We got to get it better than what it is right now. If we're looking to try to entice businesses to come in here, this is economic development. If we had to put out some money for this, I think it's well and fine. People say, well, it's not the sheriff's office's responsibility. The commission's responsibility. Well, I think it is. We need to do things to encourage economic development and a positive image of our community. And that's not going to happen overnight. We got to start now and get it going and get the ball rolling and keep it going.